change and come back.
It's a little iffy down there, though.
In half the time it would take you to change it yourself.
It's a little scary in that neck of the woods, though. I don't like going down there.
Hey, going to Super Spring in the north and Hartford.
I know, right? That's even worse, probably.
I haven't been there, last time I was in there, I was in.
Everybody
5
here is
years ago. I
gonna
took
be
a tanker down to have the walking beams done.
2 more minutes.
Yeah.
I used to be in there all the time. It's all right.
It's getting rough out there. When I get nervous, there's something wrong.
So.
And this is really good.
You have both.
Yeah, I mean, it really is helpful. I actually studied this.
Good for you.
Yeah. It's good.
Everybody organized?
Oh, well.
Yes, sir. All right. This is, well, that clock is a little ahead of me. I've got 7 o'clock right on the nose. So we'll open the Monday, September 12th, 2022 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. I'm Chairman George Clausen. Craig Sandin is absent excused. John Cooney on my right, Peter Marchand on my left, Willard Platt on my left, Troy Lemire is an alternate, Charlene Lavoie is an alternate, and Felix Viner is called, he's absent excused. Could I seat you, Troy, for Craig tonight, please? Public comment? Anything tonight with anybody? Okay. Agenda review, we've got a request, motion to amend the agenda to include under new business, PZC number 22-11, special permit request, applicant Palm Coast Capital LLC, owner Ledgebrook LLC, location New Hartford Road, map 34, block 158, lot 001E-2. Proposal retail, large shop with storage business, outdoor limited accessory use. So if we could,
I'll make that motion.
okay, do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we'll add that
And then-
under new business to 6B.
And then, Jen Purvis here on, I have not printed those letters, so I can take leave if you don't have copies, but, or read it aloud to them. If you would also add under other business, Winchester, Land Trust acquisition of Canavo property on Pratt Street.
Land trust acquisition, okay. So I'll make that motion to add the land trust with regards to Canaveral property.
I'll second that.
What's the street?
Pratt Street, there's no number, it's a
Pratt Street.
25 acre parcel.
Oh, no structures, it's just a.
Undeveloped, yeah, yeah.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Do we have any comments? All in favor? Thank you. That'll be 7, Charlie. Okay, anything else under agenda review? For A, PZC 22-08 and 22-09, both issues are the Sherwood Dawson properties. Those are continued to September 26th meeting.
Yeah, the agenda was to alert any interested parties that the public hearing would be pushed to the 26th. Unfortunately, under old business, it still reflected the September 12th. So there are interested individuals who emailed, and I let them know 26th. There was an email received from the professional engineer, George Cotter, requesting
Okay.
the continuance. So I had suggested to the other interested party that they e-subscribe to agendas for both this commission and inland wetlands, as there may be some changes going on with the plans.
How are we doing with timing?
We're still
Okay.
okay. That was calculated as soon as he asked.
Thank
Yep.
you. All right, so 5, under old business, we got PZC 22-0809. Those are the same 2 issues there. Will be continued to, it says public hearing continued to September 12th, but actually it's going to be the 26th. So I'm just changing that on mine. 5B, okay, that's 5B, so 6 alpha. We've got an application in our packets here for Shift Master. I got all organized. That's PZC number 22-10, special permit applicant, the Shift Master LLC, owner New Endeavors of Wocket LLC, location 154 Torrington Road. Proposal vehicle sales and service personnel, One-Stop Automotive Performance Center. I did notice this map that we have with it is like 40 years old.
81.
40?
Bring that up.
Yeah, only some updates, but it's 40 years old.
So the applicants on this application are prospective, or are purchasers with a contract to buy it.
To buy it,
Yep, and I believe they have a scheduled closing date the end of September. It falls after the necessary approval that they need from ZBA for, retailer license, they handle, the ZBA handles it for DMV. This is what we have that we could, on file, town hall files. It was a rushed together application, because of, they obviously want to be sure that they can get their approvals. They are here tonight. You don't customarily take testimony. This, and I've explained to them that you don't typically get into a lot of back and forth, but for an acceptance of the application is complete, that's the determination you have to make tonight, whether this would suffice.
well, it's a special permit, so I think we've got to advertise it. So that-
Yep, but,
Presentation.
if they're here, they're present, if you wanted to issue guidance, if this isn't, if you think that it's not adequate,
Well, I
they'd
think there
probably
should be a
appreciate
note
that.
on the map, that we've got a regulation, part of our regulation is a more current requirement, so that we should have an update that this in fact is accurate still.
So you would like this current site plan updated ahead of the public hearing?
Yes. And so, there's only one signature on the application, which is.
Yep, and I received the owner's signature
You did?
via email, yep.
Okay.
I can confirm
All
that.
right. Does everybody agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing here with signage or anything else. Are they coming in with another application at a later date for signage or what?
I believe that they have plans for maybe an additional sign, but otherwise they would be utilizing the size that's there, There's 2 wall signs, and then there's a couple directional signs. So
So the wall signs are really, but that's a sign permit type thing. So if it's not on the site itself, directional signs like enter here and all that business, we don't really
Right,
get involved
right.
with.
So, there may be a freestanding sign that they, down the road, but they would return, that
Right.
was the,
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're signing it as the applicant, and then they're gonna be buying the property, but, so if we set this thing up for the next meeting, which is the 26th, give them an opportunity to be able to perform and have that. They're not gonna own it at that time.
no, but with that's why they have to gain the owner's signature, but the special
Well,
permit
you have
would.
it already, all right.
Yep, so, yeah,
All right. So we need a motion to add this.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to hold the special permit hearing on PZC 22-11, September 26th.
I'll second.
John is seconded. Any questions?
2210 at 154 Torrington Road, right?
Yes.
Okay.
154 Torrington Road.
Okay. Discussion of the motion. All in favor of the motion? Okay, so if we can get that updated as far as the plan just updated, that's all. And that, now this has to go to, does it go to wetlands as well?
No, there's no ground disturbance planned. You know, it's a change
Across the
of, it's a
road.
change of use, the use is permitted through a special permit,
Yeah.
you know, but there's really, for the immediate plan changes, it would just,
But on the application number 13, it says that, are there wetlands on the property or is proposal regulated by Wetlands Commission? It says yes.
right, but they're not,
There's
they're,
nothing there.
no, so, I mean, that
So
would.
we're not gonna have a problem?
No.
Okay. All right. So 6B is the PZC 22-11 special permit applicant Palm Coast Capital LLC, owner of Ledgebrook LLC, New Hartford Road, map 34, block 158, lot 001E-2, proposal, retail large shop with storage business outdoor limited use. I haven't even looked at this, it was on the table tonight. Does anybody else have any comments with regards to that?
Got a lot to look at there.
Yeah, well, they got a set of plans here.
I mean, will we have time enough to hear this, do this special permit on the 26th with this?
We got a lot of things on that agenda.
What's that?
The 26th, we've got a lot of
For
things
the
on
one at
there.
Ledgebrook Plaza?
But, I would still beg you to be patient and hear all of them
Okay.
on the 26th. Because everyone always wanted their approvals yesterday,
Yes.
you know, and, you know, you'll have 4 public hearings, but really 3, if you consider the one up at West Wakefield as one development project. It looks
Yeah,
like 2,
well-
but, you know, just, I know that, you know,
Okay, I just don't want to
this is
overload.
something that, you know, that we,
It should be.
it
All right,
would,
I'll make a motion to have a special permit, public hearing, September 26th on PZC 22-11, Palm Coast Capital LLC for 200 New Hartford Road, Ledgebrook LLC, property owner.
I'll second it.
Okay, any discussion on the motion? All in favor? Okay, so that's gonna be another one on the
26th, yeah.
26th. Okay. Thank you. All right, 7, other business, public information meeting on draft of affordable housing plan. Pam's got that down. There's some more modifications to the plan, so we'll continue that to the 26th as well.
yep, you had a copy of it on your desk when you arrived this evening.
Yes, thank you.
My conversations with Jocelyn have been, they're not likely to ask you to append the plan of conservation and development, you know, with this plan, but they are seeking a finding from the group that it's consistent with the plan of conservation and development. You know, you're under no obligation to do that, but that is the ask.
Okay, all right. Discussion of proposed text amendments to the zoning regulations. Pam has been tied up, so we haven't got a list out, but, I mean, some of the things we talked about was the freestanding parking lots that are not associated with a building, that's one item. Parking for the cannabis regulations, we didn't include that, so we need to do that. The 24% slope regs, so anything, we haven't we had the application in there, we talked about bonding and so forth, so that's another issue that has to be brought up.
Bonding, would it refresh my memory on the bond?
We talked about, in order to do that, with that kind of a slope, there should be bonding that should be discussed, but.
And you want that included in the language of the regs?
Well, that's one of the items we talk about, to see whether it's worth doing it, or it's just something to be considered. And then with driveway approvals, which is handled by the Board of Selectmen, that's another issue that it's just to make a suggestion to the Board of Selectmen that it might be appropriate to have us, with an application, be able to deal
Assume
with
that duty?
yeah, yeah. But that's just only a few things. We had other things, I think, that we were talking about, too. But I talked to Craig this afternoon, he called me about not being here tonight. And who would be interested in a small, like a 3-person subcommittee from the commission to work on some of these things, so that we can kind of focus on it? Sometimes
I'll update them.
yeah,
I can work on that.
okay, okay. All right, so,
And might I suggest that maybe you wanna meet like, Tuesday, October 4th? If you have that available in the morning here at Town Hall,
What time?
whenever,
Yeah, at night I've got a meeting on
No,
the fourth, first
may-
Tuesday of the month. is
does during
fire
the day
department
work so you can meet with town
meeting.
staff?
I can, yeah.
okay,
I can't do it in the day on Tuesday.
okay.
George?
Yes.
Can alternates do this?
Yeah, oh, sure,
No.
yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I mean, I'd be willing, but that's up to
No, that's fine,
to
that's
you.
fine. No, I think that, all right, so we'll have the 4 names, and why don't, after, when we get later on in the meeting, you 4 talk about them,
We'll talk more about it with
Yeah.
Pam.
Why don't
Set
we
up
do
a
that?
time and a date.
okay?
No.
So before we leave tonight, we'll set up
Okay.
something that's mutually agreeable. Okay. All right, so we're at 7C, this Winchester Land Trust. Hi, Jeff.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Jen here, go Winchester Land Trust. Sorry, I'm gonna pass around the map for you guys, 'cause, sorry, I didn't get to your packet. So I'll just show you so you know what you're looking at. The purple is the property that we're gonna try and buy, and I'll pass it around to everybody. And then the green are lots that are already preserved by the Highland Lake Watershed Association. They're those little 25 by 100 feet lots, but in groups up at Highland Lake. And then the orange are wooded parcels that the town owns, and again, they're those 25 by 100, but some of them come in clumps of like 2 or 4 or
Okay.
8 of them. And the little red star is this Canavo Spring, which is not part of this land trust project. And then the building over here is Bachelor's School. So there's a little access to the property, like a little bit up the hill and on the opposite side of Bachelor Hill. And we're gonna have a trail start there, and then the trail's gonna go across the back of the property and end up over in Alpha Avenue area, like where these Pima roads are.
Yeah.
So I'll just pass that around so you can.
This all wooded area, just wooded?
Yes.
When you say it doesn't include the trail, I mean, it doesn't include the spring,
Especially across from back.
Correct.
Steep, oh, yeah.
So the star is the
The
spring?
spring is the spring,
Okay,
so.
trying to get my bearings
the-
here.
The town information is not 100% correct online, because the spring is on a separate lot of about half an acre to an acre.
and that was determined through a survey, or how was that determined?
Yeah, correct. Yep.
So you have a survey?
Yes,
Oh, perfect,
yep, it's a John DeCara survey.
perfect.
So there's 2 lots, and so the land trust is working with the Canavo family. They came to the land trust and said that they wanted to preserve this
You've
land
seen it already.
behind the spring. So if you had your back to Risha Beach and you were looking at the spring and the apartments, it's the slope land that comes down towards the spring.
Is that where the spring comes from? Is it fed from
Correct.
the property?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, we got to protect that.
Yeah, so, I'm sorry that this didn't make it to your, packets, but I'll just summarize. Okay,
But, so the only connection you have to any, the road on the backside, is that,
we have a connection to Pratt Street,
okay,
a little bit uphill
Yeah.
and across from Bachelor School.
okay, yeah,
And then it connects to Alpha Avenue,
okay.
when, at the point where Alpha Avenue is more like a goat path.
Oh.
That's most of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well, I mean, it's,
I know.
so the green is what, Jen?
the green is owned by the Highland Lake Watershed Association, and that's permanently protected land. And then the orange is land that could be protected, but right now it's owned by the town, and it's just sitting there, it's forested land, and
So it's acquired through the years,
correct, probably through foreclosures
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something, or, yeah,
there's no buildings on any of those pieces?
correct.
So is the spring still owned by the family
Well,
Yes,
that's-
at this point?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
good.
Jen, there's, you're not
Yep.
able to see, but let me ask you a question. This property, what's this, is this the road?
Sorry, let me see. If it is, it's not really there. Yeah. I mean, Alpha Avenue gets,
So why are you
Narrower.
interested in this?
okay, so. Well, just to start with, the Canavo family approached us, their intent is to preserve the land because they want to preserve the spring. So the spring starts just off of this land, and all this land slopes towards it. So if you were to develop it, maybe with a house or two, it's a little bit steep and ledgy and that kind of thing. Then you'd open up, the possibility of contaminating the spring with fertilizer, pesticide, any kind of runoff. If you're not familiar with the spring, there's a pipe going from that structure back into the woods, and then the family owns a spring house, and the water like bubbles up in there. So that's not part of this project now, but the intent of the family is to have this water available to people in Winchester and surrounding areas. So some of the benefits of preserving it are, first of all, the purity of the spring water, also to provide, access for people to nature, and for the land trust, this parcel is much closer to the downtown than most of our hiking trails are up in Winchester Center, and so it gives people an opportunity,
That
to
looks like the,
enjoy,
yeah, it looks like the apartments,
nature.
I think.
Sorry.
No, it's
Just-
okay.
I was thinking where the spring was, the apartments, and then the land is behind it.
Yeah, along the,
Okay.
yeah.
And it is, consistent with our POCD, where, on page 6-2, there's reference to the importance of protecting our water bodies, which include our lakes, rivers, ponds, and streams, and springs that are valuable natural resources. There's also a section, a page later, about, preserving, natural resources, through the land trust and other means. And then also, there's a section on 6-14 about providing open space for the citizens. And I did an informal survey for about a month, and members of my family, and we interviewed people, and those are on your little packet too. But I found, if you drive by, you'll notice there's people there almost all the time filling up anything from a water bottle to 5-gallon jugs, and some people bring 10 or 15 of those. And when I talk to people, most are from Winstead, but there are people from Barkhamsted, Goshen, there are people from Massachusetts, and they use the water for a variety of things, mostly for drinking, but some people were using it for their pets drinking water, people were using it to keep their gardens going, and I met 2 people who were using it for horses. And with this drought, they weren't able to use their well or the stream are really passionate about this water. And maybe you've noticed also when we have one of these, storm events and people lose power, you'll have cars like 10 cars waiting for the water. And so it really is a resource that's really utilized and revered in our community. So.
It's a pretty steep sloped area.
It is pretty steep, and the appraiser didn't see it as, supporting a neighborhood, but maybe one or two houses perhaps.
How big is that access onto, it looks like it's pretty big.
I think
onto,
it's
Brant?
about 50 feet, I think. And it's, if you go up there, you'll see there's gravel, there's a little pull out there, and there's an old road, like an old wood road.
Yeah, there's an old road that goes in there, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've seen that.
yeah.
So what are you looking for from us?
Just a letter of support. So the land trust, we don't ask any financial, support from the town. We're writing a grant to DEEP. It's due at the end of September. Because Winchester is a distressed community, we often get up to 75% of the purchase price from the state. And then we apply for other grants and do fundraising to fund a project like this.
Do we have a sheet on this?
I think Jen was gonna, do you want to,
I didn't bring
Oh,
it,
okay.
but
I probably have it in my.
I have it on I can read it from here actually.
Okay, yeah, actually, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, so we just have a sample letter that you're welcome to edit.
It's to the Open Space and Watershed Land Acquisition Grant Program. Dear Commissioner Katie Dykes, the Town of Winchester Planning and Zoning Commission is pleased to support Winchester Land Trust's acquisition of the 25-acre Canavo Spring watershed property. This property fulfills many objectives of Winchester's plan of conservation and development. On page 6-2, the report states of utmost importance is the protection of our water bodies. Our lakes, rivers, ponds, streams, and springs are valuable natural resources that contribute significantly to the financial, recreational, and aesthetic viability of the town, end of quotes. The 25-acre watershed property slopes toward well-used Canavo Spring, and keeping this hillside free from development ensures the ongoing purity of water coming from the spring. Potential development of this site would be damaging due to the ledge, slope, and need for accessibility. The only two access points currently are a narrow dirt path on Pratt Street across from Bachelor School and an unpaved paper road, Alpha Avenue. This access would be insufficient to support residential development of the site, so additional road pavement would be required. This would be detrimental to the water quality. Additionally, the POCD promotes adding open space in Winchester, pages 6-8 and 6-8 to 6-11, with a trail on 25 acres connecting the Lakes District to the high-density downtown. The Canavo parcel not only adds preserved land, but does so in a very important area. People in the nearby single and multifamily home neighborhood will have easy access to a forest trail that the Winchester Land Trust will create. In closing, the PCC sees Canavo Spring as a critical resource to the town of Winchester and values the conservation of 25 acres of its watershed by the Winchester Land Trust. Thank you for considering this grant application. Sincerely, George Clausen, Chairman, Planning and Zoning Commission. That's the
Okay, can we
letters.
get a copy of the definition of the land and as well as,
Yeah, I was, while you folks were going over it, I found a survey from John DeCara. It's recorded on the land records map 22-55. It was merged and realignment plan, separate parcels owned by Canavo Development LLC, Hurlbut Street. And then map, block, and lot of this, and it can get corrected through GIS. Because I agree, they do vary, and it looks like GIS was just never updated to show this boundary realignment. Map 033, block 158, lot 053 is the map, block, and lot of the parcel.
okay? So what do we got for discussion? Thoughts, Troy?
I agree with sending a letter, so
Okay.
I have no problem with that.
Yeah, I mean, I have a lot of history with that. I fixed that well a bunch of times and been involved with that and drank the water my whole entire life. So yeah, if I could save that, yes.
Okay. Anything?
We use it ourselves.
All right, so we need a motion to,
Make a motion to send a letter.
that you have.
Second.
Okay, we got a motion and a second. Any discussion on the motion and the second? All in favor of that? Okay.
I can print it out before they leave if you want George's signature.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you.
Okay, 8, new business, anything, nothing listed? We've got minutes from the August 22nd.
And I had, just George, not necessarily new business, but go back to enforcement. Twin Stop, or Quick Stop, up at the other end across.
Yes.
Been by there several times in the last week or so. I assume they have a CO for occupancy, but there's no dumpster enclosure. There's no shrubs planted on the Division Street side that was supposed to be there. That was all part of our conditions of approval 2 years ago or more. And I just bring it to somebody's attention that we get that enforced and done before winter.
Do you know what the status is?
I don't believe that there's a CO issued,
Okay.
but.
Well, they're occupying the building, obviously, and
right,
open, so
right,
if they don't have a
so-
CO, they should be shut down,
Right,
yes.
so we'll have to,
Expedite.
we'll look at that and
Right.
I'll communicate
Thanks
that
for
tomorrow.
bringing
that up.
Right,
But, yeah, it just looks like crap there.
that's 787 Main Street.
Okay,
that.
787 Main.
Yep.
So, that's what I wanted to bring up.
Thank you. All right, we've got minutes from the August 22nd meeting. Craig was absent, excused.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 22nd.
Okay, do we have a
22nd
second?
meeting.
John, second. Any discussion on what was in it, and corrections or modifications? All in favor? Thank you. Okay, communications. You gave us
yeah.
enforcement.
Yep, just to note that line on the table tonight when you arrived was a zoning enforcement update from the enforcement agent Michael Stankov dated September 12th, 2022. And I also included for reference sake the enforcement report from August 2nd, 2022, just so that we kind of are tracking what's happening here with enforcement. And if, there's any communications on that.
I'd like to see us review this. We don't have to go through it right now, but let's review it and then,
Talk about it at the next meeting.
yeah, and then the same thing about, other things that we've talked about with the, like Plant Hill, that
Yeah,
property.
yeah, I mean, they've taken care of the sedimentation and erosion control measures up there. I was up there this last week, but the pallets that are still inside the fence are still there. They haven't done the lock they're supposed to give fire department or anybody access if needed be an emergency, so.
All right, I'm gonna read through these two, and, so when we have a discussion at the end of the meeting and at the end of the month, let's look at this, and if we've got some issues with enforcement that is not being handled or hasn't been handled, let's, review it and, take whatever steps we feel are appropriate.
Can I bring up one now or no?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was reading quick through this and I came across the 178 Raleigh, 180 Raleigh.
Yeah.
Why are we asking a business to pave the parking lot that is grandfathered and has the same business in there since I was a kid?
It was a special permit in 2015.
For,
I want to say retail, and then the storage got added after. It was storage. So where you see U-Haul trucks are supposed to be a storage building. And only recently were the parcels merged. Like there was, an approval sought and received, but never a zoning permit issued all this time. And the terms of that special permit have not been met, which,
That was all approved for storage buildings?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. And,
Similar to like Robert's house.
parking,
over
that
defined
was
parking.
after the Nichols?
there.
Yeah, 2015. It was under Steve
Berlinski
Sadlowski.
did it. The Berlinskis wanted a storage unit there.
Yeah, yep. And there is some storage space upstairs, but there was never even a zoning permit pulled until recent.
Okay, but
Look,
what's that gotta-
see, there was a transfer, so, you know, it was reviewed. You know, everything that the assessor finds when things come on the market, they're always kind of check, you know, at least since the current assessor has been here, whatever she sees that comes on, if it doesn't match or with what she has on file, and she gets copied of everything that comes through this department. So it's almost like a checks and balances that she takes the initiative to do every morning. So, you know, if a property is listed as having an in-law apartment in the bottom and we have no record of it, well, then everyone gets alerted
Show
and,
up.
you know, for enforcement, you know, to.
What's this gotta do with the parking lot? I understand that.
So it was, I believe it came about that it was being marketed to, you know, a new buyer, you know, it was on the market. And, it wasn't permitted. So the terms of a special permit, like any terms, you know, that you know, it's got nice landscaping, it shows striped spots, you know, and you can't stripe gravel, you have to pave. Your regs say parking has to be paved. And, none of that has been done.
But the accessory building was never built and the use is the same.
It wasn't the same, that was the thing.
That the Nichols had rental unit, or rental things there.
Trust me, Trey, it's been vetted before the zoning violation was issued. It wasn't permitted according to the special permit from 2015.
I find that's,
Come in, pop in, and we can review the file.
Okay.
Because, you know, I'm doing this off memory.
I mean, I've been going there since I was,
Yeah, yeah, and it wasn't Nichols. They weren't the
No,
applicant.
but the
under
special
what
permit
Steve's-
changed the use of it from what Nichols had.
right, but if it wasn't built, why would they go after the parking lot?
Because the
now?
use did in fact
Because the use was
change.
changed through zoning.
Just because it has U-Hauls in there?
It went from retail to storage. It's now a mixed-use building. You have storage above that,
Above is bow hunting classes, that's what it was.
you know,
It's not storage.
it is now.
Oh, he's using it as storage now.
Oh, yeah, it was sprinklered, like, it went kind of through the building permit process because you know, there had been information gleaned, you know, in the last 5 years that it was being rented out for storage. Well, that necessitated sprinklering, you know, under the fire code. So,
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to you about this.
yeah, sure.
But that's why it's good to have these things, and let's just start tracking them, because we've got a new zoning enforcement, or a regulation enforcement person, and,
And Thursdays we're open late, so you know that. So if you ever want to pop in, you know, we're here till 6.
okay. All right, get that approved. Any other communications? What about staff report?
Staff report, so I did look it up. It's Tom Haggerty that is opening up JT's Cafe and the former Winning Ticket.
Come on,
Yeah. So,
Tommy Hag.
yeah, yeah.
Good for him.
He's a local for, you know, you see how enthusiastic
Born and raised in
Troy is.
Beloit.
Yes, and he's,
This is gonna be where?
Winning ticket was.
yeah,
Oh, really?
yep. So like to like, it's a
Yeah.
simple zoning permit.
Who's opening that up?
He's not,
Tom Haggerty?
yeah, he's a baseball enthusiast, fan. He's gonna have,
No,
Warner
baseball.
grew
Yeah.
up on Wetmore Avenue.
yeah,
Yep.
yep, that's the family,
Oh,
yeah.
interesting.
So he's excited. Yeah, there hasn't been much by way of new development or new. You should expect to see an application from the brewery, 32 Lake Street, soon. Not only for phase 2, which is an expansion of the brewery, but phase 3 for the axe throwing. That he came in and he hopes to get started soon. So, you know, we'll see that. Capital Products Building did come in. He does plan, building permit wise, he plans on removing all of the windows and putting, rebuilding the sills for the time being. And he understands from our building official that, yes, you have to board it up, you have to secure the building, and, you know, he intends to do that. And, you know, at some future date, he'll be in before you folks
Okay.
for a, plan zoning application. There's still discussions trying to iron out what is happening at the 398 Main Street, the former Winchester Hotel. You know, there's been some divvying up of space, some shifting of tenants. And so you may or may not see an application from them depending on how they go forward. But I think it's likely that you'll probably see
Done a lot of
something.
concrete work out in the back, and they cleaned up the back of the building. Yeah. All right.
What about the Prime, that should be open at any time now?
Which one?
Where the old Prime was,
Primo?
restaurant?
Yeah,
Primo?
yeah, oh yeah, she was in too recently, and yeah, hopefully very soon,
Yeah,
you know?
they keep saying they were gonna open it, I think they're looking for staff, that's the hard part right now.
Yeah,
Along with the one in New Hartford having the same problem,
right.
staff. Nobody wants to work anymore, guys.
Getting free money, you don't have to wait. All right.
So, and just with the, draft of the, affordability plan, if there's any changes, you know, you'll see my notes, my comments. If there's anything else that you see that you feel might be, that you'd like to share ahead of next regular meeting on the 26th, email that to me and I'll forward that on to Jocelyn.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Yes.
I'm here on two issues. The first one, again, is in regards to the recreational pot. I think that the good board members here could leave it up to the voters. And in doing so, the people will speak here in Winston. I think that's only the appropriate thing to do, as in other communities, that there's been voiced objections to this. In light of the medical marijuana med tech thing that's already on the border between Torrington and Winston, which is a good thing for people who need that and do have their proper registration and license. So I think that I'm glad that Stephen Sadelack, our good selectman, is here tonight because I think it should be left up to the people. And I think that a petition will be coming forward for people to sign to get it on the ballot, not for November 8th because it's too late now to do that, but for the next referendum. And the second thing I've come before you just to alert you is in regards to what Mr. Lemire said tonight in regards to a good neighbor, one that has been here since, as he said, the Nichols had hunting and fishing, sporting goods, also, chainsaws, fixing your lawnmower if you're not handy enough to fix your lawnmower. So a lot of people here today in our town like it that they do have storage upstairs where they used to have bow. My daughter practiced bow and arrow upstairs at one time, but now they have storage. Isn't that great that you can get inside storage up here in Winston? Isn't it great that you could, if you need it, because all of us don't have trucks, get a U-Haul for $19.99 or $29.99 when you need it. He does a great business and he's a great asset to the town, not only with fishing and hunting, and also the Winchester Police utilize his services. Also, the Board of Education utilizes his services in numerous ways. So it's good for our town and for our zoning enforcement officer who is new to the town to go after them, for our assessor who is now leaving, hallelujah, that she's leaving to go and find this idiosyncrasy, if you will, seems to me to be, you know, throwing the baby out with the bathwater. So I think that it's a good business, and you're in zoning, and and as the board here, I think that you should look to keep a good neighbor like that, because that family who owns it now has been here for many, many generations. And thank you for letting me speak. David will point, but he'll say it.
Anybody else have anything? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to return?
Second.
Give a second, all in favor? Thank you. The subcommittee, you guys could just figure out.
What's anybody got here?
Thanks for putting this together with the
Look up, you
affordable
guys,
housing.
what you retirees can meet there today and us working people
You're
have to
part-time
go to
help.
work.
You're part-time help.